Alright class, so here's the review for test 2, and I want to focus on this type of question first. It says graph the system below and write its solution. Note that you can also say no solution or infinitely many solutions. So let me remind you, we talked about 3 types of systems, and so we either have an intersecting set of lines, at some point they intersect, and this point right here in the center is considered an xy coordinate, which is a 1 solution. Okay, so we have that type of system. The other system, the no solution that they refer to here, you're looking at parallel lines. Okay, so in this case you're looking for the same slope. So we're looking for the same slope, and that should be the indicator, and that would be a no solution to this because the lines would never meet. The last line that they refer to, infinitely many, this is the same line overlapping itself. So it's one line on top of the other. They're identical. So you're looking for identical, the identical line. I'm running out of space, sorry about that. But the identical line, and basically in that case you have infinitely many solutions, just like it states here. So let's take a look first at our work. So they want you to graph this system. So I'll start with this value right here, or this equation, and I get y equals negative 2x equal to minus 6, my apologies. Okay, because the 6 is already there on that side, so all you got to do is bring this over. It's already a negative 6. So I'll go ahead and I'll graph that, and I could see that I'm going to have a negative slope, right? Because that's a negative number, that's your slope. And when x is 0, y is negative 6, so I'm down here. According to that, I go down 2 more points over 1, or I can go up 2 points back 1. It does the same effect. Okay, and so one of my lines, as you can see, goes obviously this way. Okay, the other line is already in slope-intercept form, so when x is 0, I'll draw this one, let's do this one in a different color, I'll do it in blue. When x is 0, y is 3. According to this, my change in the slope is up 1 over 4. So if I go up 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, or I could go down 1 and go backwards 1, 2, 3, 4. And so you can see where it overlaps. It looks like this point right here, and so this line goes as such. So they obviously have one solution. If we look at the graph itself, we could see that that point looks like it's negative 4, 2, but we can verify that by setting these two equal to each other and solving for x. So let's see. If I take the negative 2x minus 6 and I set it equal to 1 over 4x plus 3, I can add that 6 and move it to this side of the equation. And right now I have negative 2x equals 1/4 x plus 9. And now I need to get rid of this value, so I'm going to subtract 1/4 x on both sides. Subtract 1 over 4x over here too. What ends up happening is that, well, obviously you could see that this is going to cancel on this side, leaving you 9 equal to, and now this is 2 over 1. I need a common denominator. Since this is a 4, I have to multiply by 4 top and bottom. So this fraction doesn't change value, it just now looks like this. It looks like 8 over 4 minus 1 over 4. And so this value becomes, as we can see, it'll become negative 9 over 4x. But I still need to solve for x, so the only way I can do that is if I multiply the whole thing by negative 4 over 9 on both sides. As you can see, this cancels out, leaving you the x by itself equal to These will cancel, and that leaves you negative 4. So you can already see that there. Now, at this point, I have two equations. I have y equals negative 2x minus 6, which I like to use. I also have the y equals 1/4 x plus 3, but I'm going to use this one just because. No particular reason. And if I do negative 2 times negative 4 minus 6, notice that I get y is equal to negative 8. Actually, positive 8. Two negatives make a positive. Minus 6, which is really 2. Again, look at my answer here. Alright. So there's multiple ways of approaching that question. Now question number 2 asks, for each ordered pair, determine whether the points below are a solution or not of the system. There's a couple of ways you can do this. You can actually substitute each and go that route, which I think I'm going to do that because that's the easiest for the most majority of the students. So 7 times 8 plus 2 times 4 should equal 3. If that is true, then that is a solution. And then there's 2 times 8 minus 3 times 4, and that equals 4. So I'm starting with this point here, as if you notice. So remember, this is x, this is y. Okay, so this is going to give me negative 56 plus 8. Is that equal to 3? I don't think so. And then this gives you 16 minus 12. Well, that does give you 4, so that does check out. But this one does not, because negative 7 times 8 is negative 56, which I'm going to add to that 8, positive 8, so that is definitely not 3. Okay, so that's not a solution. This is a no. Okay, so now we do the next one. The next one is the coordinate point 0, 5, so I'll start with negative 7 times 0 plus 2 times 5 equals 3. Well, we can already see that this is a no as well, right? And all you need is one of them to fail. Negative 7 times 0 is 0, plus 2 times 5 is 10, and that is not equal to 3. So this is also a no. You don't need to do the next one because we already have a fail for that. Okay, repeat and rinse. Negative 7 times negative 3 plus 2 times negative 9 is going to equal 3. This might be true because this is going to give you 21 minus 18, which is 3. So that checks out. We repeat the process here with this one to make sure that the system does work. So we'll try with 2 times negative 3 minus 3 times negative 9, and that should equal, according to the system, 4. Let's see if that's true. This is going to give us negative 6. This is going to give us positive 27. That looks like a fail to me, because that's a positive 21. Alright, so this is a no. Okay, and lastly, the last set, which is negative 2 and negative 1 respectively. So negative 7 times negative 1 plus 2 times negative 2 is going to equal 3. This looks like it's feasible because this is 7 minus 4. That is definitely 3, so we're good there. Now we plug it into the second one. 2 times negative 1 minus 3 times negative 2 equals 4. I'm getting all of this from here, by the way. Negative 2 plus 6 does equal 4. So winner, winner, chicken dinner. That's your yes. Okay, and that's how you approach that one. Remember, they both have to work. They both have to be checks. Alright. Question 3 of in this case, it says 2 systems of equations are given below. For each, choose the description. Okay, so what you want to do here is go back. Remember I said to you there were 3 types. We want to solve for each so that it looks like y equals mx plus b. Okay, so we have, let's use this one first. Negative 2y is equal to negative x plus 8. So I'm subtracting x on both sides. I'm then going to multiply the whole thing by negative 1 to get rid of the negative because we don't like that. So positive 2y is equal to positive x minus 8. That's what this line looks like. I also need to divide by 2 here, here, and here. So this is now y equals 1/2 x minus 4. That's the first equation. Okay, now we look at the second equation. I'm going to work that one on this side. Since I start with negative x plus 2y equals 8, I'm going to add that x to both sides of the equation. I now have positive 2y is equal to x plus 8. My last step is to divide by 2 on all 3 of the terms. I'm left with y equals 1/2 x plus 4. Not the same equation. Let's see here. Just want to make sure I didn't have a mistake. So for this one we started with x minus 2y. Let me rework that one just in case. I don't know why I have a hang up about this one for a sec. So let's subtract the x. So we're at negative 2y is equal to negative x plus 8. I'm going to divide by negative 2 on all 3 terms. And I think I am correct because this results in y equals 1/2 x, but you end up with a negative 4. So they both have the same slope, so this has no solution. This is the parallel lines, right? Parallel lines, we have the same slope, and that's the style that this one is. Alright, let's look at the next one. On the next one, I'm going to add the x to both sides. I'm left with 4y is equal to x plus 4. And I'm going to divide by 4 on all 3 terms. This leaves me y equals 1/4 x plus 1 for the first equation. The second equation, I'm going to work on this side. I have x minus 4y equal to negative 4. So I'll subtract the x on both sides, leaving me negative 4y is equal to negative x minus 4. But I'm then going to divide by negative 4 on all 3 terms because I want y by itself always. That'll cancel. This will leave me y equals, the negatives will cancel, leaving me 1/4x. And this will cancel to give me plus 1. So this is, the system has infinitely many solutions. They are identical. Alright, very good. Alright, this is the same as question 1. So I'm not going to work this one out. You can work it out. The answers are in the back. So yeah, I'm going to skip that one. I'm just going to go to number 5. This will give you an opportunity also to work out the question. Okay, so question 5. This is just a little bit of algebra, just to make sure that you got the basics. You have a parentheses with a coefficient of, or a multiple in front. Here you have a negative 5, which we're going to distribute as well. You notice that I'm not distributing that 2 to the negative 5. We don't bother that. So this is going to give us 2y minus 14 minus 5 is equal to positive 15, because remember 2 negatives give you a positive as a product, minus 5 minus 9y. And what you want to do is you want to group like terms. So this gives you 2y minus 19 is equal to 15 minus 9y is going to give you 6y minus 5. That's just math. Okay, now we want to subtract the 2y on both sides, and I'm going to add that 5 and bring it to this side. So the 2y's cancel and the 5's cancel. This leaves me negative 14 is equal to 4y, and therefore in this case, when I divide by 4 on both sides, this simplifies to leave me y is equal to negative 7/2. In other words, reduce this by half, right? Both of those numbers are divisible by 2. Okay. This is a concept we haven't covered just yet, but the sum of two numbers is 65. One number is 4 times as large as the other. So if you have x plus 4x, right? Because if this is the number, this number is 4 times as large as the other. And the sum indicates addition. So if I'm adding those two numbers, that value is 65. So you get 5x is equal to 65, and therefore x is equal to 5 goes into 6 once with a remainder of 1, so 5 goes into 15. Actually, x is 13, right? Okay, solve the following system of equations. Same difference here. You can use the addition method or the substitution method. Here we start with 9x minus 5y is 25. The second line is negative 2x plus 3y is equal to 2. I'm looking at both of these coefficients respectively, either the y or the x, and they both have opposite signs. So if I chose the x to cancel, I would simply multiply this by 2 and this by 9 because they're already opposite signs. That means that I am distributing that value all the way over for each of these respectively. This times this times this. So my new system, or my new values for this, become 18x minus 10y equals 50 for the top line. And for the bottom line, I have negative 18x plus 27y equal to 18. So if you notice, once I employ the addition method, these guys cancel. This leaves you 17y is equal to 68. And if I divide by 17 on both sides, I should get y equals, I believe, 4. If y is 4, all you have to do is substitute it, and I would use this equation because it's the smallest of the numbers. So you have negative 2x plus 3 times the 4 is equal to 2. And so negative 2x plus 12 is equal to 2. Subtract the 12 on both sides. You're left with negative 2x equals negative 10. So x is equal to 5. So your solution for this would be 5, 4. Okay, this one, remember when I said to you, whichever one you feel most confident with is the one you should be using. So it says use substitution method to solve the system, and obviously the reason they're saying that is because x is a single. So that means that I'm going to do 4 parentheses 2y plus 7 plus 3y is equal to 17. So this gives you 8y plus 28 plus 3y is equal to 17, which means that we have 11y plus 28 is equal to 17. I'm going to subtract 28 on both sides, and now I have 11y is equal to negative 11, and so therefore y is equal to negative 1. That's my answer for that one. If y is negative 1, I can just substitute that in there, and therefore this x equals 2 times negative 1 plus 7, okay, and I'm working here, which means that this becomes 7 minus 2, which is 5, and that's your solution set for that. Let me erase a little bit here so you can see a little better, and I'm going to stop the video at number 10. Because if not, you guys will lose attention, and that way you could pause it here at number 10. And I'll call this review part 1 to make your life a little easier to follow. Okay, so as we look at this example, 1 month, Charlie rented 3 movies plus 5 video games, and it cost Charlie $30. The next month, Charlie rented 6 movies and 2 video games, and that cost Charlie $18. They want to know how much each costs. So basically you have a system of equations. Since you have coefficients for all of them and they're all different, I would suggest that we focus on this line here, because I can attest that 2 times 3 is 6, so therefore if I use -2, that'll give me -6, and I can solve for video game. So as I solve for this question down here, I have -6 movie minus 10 video is equal to -60. And here's the second sentence, which we just drop to solve the equation. This goes away. You're left with -8 video is equal to negative, and so we have -60 plus 18. Let's see here, I have to use a calculator. It's early in the morning, and I am going to make sure that I don't make a mistake with this one. So we have -60 minus 18, which gives me -42. And I'm going to divide by -8 on both sides of this equation. And so this gives me a total of $5.25 is how much the video games are costing. If I want to know how much the movie is, I just simply substitute that in there. So I have 6 times movie plus 2 times video game, right? So I just substitute in that, and that should give me $18. So this is substituting in that value in here. So in this case, if I have $5.25 times 2, I have $10.50. So 6 times movie plus $10.50 is equal to 18. I'm going to subtract 10.5 on both sides. So now I have 18 minus 10.5, which leaves me 7.5 on this side, because this all cancels. So I have 6m is equal to 7.5, and the last step, I'm going to divide by 6 on both sides. So 7.5 divided by 6 is $1.25. So the movies cost $1.25. So again, video was $5.25, and the movies were $1.25. Okay, question number 10. Let's look at the car family question, and I'm going to stop the video here once done. Let me see how much quickly I can erase this. Alright. Alright, so a family has 2 cars. The first car has fuel efficiency of 15 miles per gallon, and the second car has a fuel efficiency of 25 miles per gallon. During one particular week, 2 cars went a combined total of 1,225 miles, for a total gas consumption of 55 gallons. How many gallons were consumed by each of the 2 cars that week? So they helped you already by setting up the 2 cars. If you notice, they have the 2 variables here, first car, second car. So that's like your X, that's like your Y. So if this car has a fuel efficiency of 15 miles per gallon, and this one has, the second car has a fuel efficiency of 25 miles per gallon, right? And so there's your X and your Y. And if the 2 cars went X plus Y a total of 1,225, and we know that in this case this is 15X plus 25y, that was equal to 55 gallons. Because remember, this is the gallons equation. This is your miles or your quantity equation. So now when you solve, you can figure out how long each of these went. So this is 25 miles per gallon. Actually, let me reverse these. I just realized I have them reversed. So yes, your miles are actually up here. So the car X plus Y went 1225 this time, and here's X 55. Alright, so if you plug it in, we could solve with substitution, or we could just build it up, which I think I'm going to go with that. I'm going to build this up by negative 15 and distribute that to all three terms. Alright, so this second sentence I'm going to write down here in a different color so we can follow. Alright, and so you get negative 15x minus 15y is equal to 55 times negative 15, which gives you negative 825. So if you notice, the x's cancel out. This leaves you with 10y equal to, and now we're going to subtract the 1225 minus the 825, which puts you at 400. And so y is equal to 400 divided by 10, which is simply 40. If that's the case, we bring this back up to this equation here. So I know that x plus 40 is 55. If that is the case, then x has to be 15. Okay, I'm stopping this video here, and this is part 1 of 4. And more to come.